begin with our speaker for the day. We again have Irwin Luck with us for another beautiful Saturday to share our stories and times with Meher Baba.
I'm still figuring out how to work this thing. Well, today is supposedly the second part of my talk. The first part was last week, but I'm going to start it off with a poem titled Heaven's Gate. I wrote this in 2010 along with 150 others, but I'm only going to read one. Save you the job of hearing them all. Today, there was a lot of love in the world. You may not have seen it because of the clouds. Earthquakes that kill hundreds of thousands, tsunamis, hurricanes, tornadoes, maybe a meteor hit that can wipe out so much of life on the planet. Nature's disasters that we call an act of God. Then there are the acts of some men, murderers, muggers, hate mongers, and civil and national strife of all kinds. Political, religious, family conflicts and wars. Lots of pain in a most amazing variety of ways. Yet there is a sun. But there are also clouds that hide the brightness of this life-giving energy of the sun. If I were God and I saw all this, I would want to do something to make things better for both the ignorant and the wise. But you are the one, the Son of all life and love, the Master of all things. You took upon yourself the mission to raise the consciousness of the world so we may see the truth for ourselves. When you come, you punch a big hole in the clouds. However many and dark they may be, your sunshine, which is always there, can now be seen in the midst of any misery. Those who follow your beam join your light beyond the clouds. O Lord, Savior of the blind, the day is beautiful beyond measure where you come from. To see your cloud-piercing ray is to follow you beyond the clouds that hide you. Then lo, heaven's gates are open while the battle rages below. There you have it. Well, in my life, I got to meet that one that's beyond the clouds. And let me tell you something. It is a life-giving ray. It reminds me of something that happened when I left seeing Meher Baba. This was in 1960. And it was time for me to go. Baba had asked me to come he said I could come for 1 hour, but he kept me for 2 weeks. So now, after 2 weeks, boy, did I skip over a lot. But anyhow, after 2 weeks, he called me over and he asked me, if I asked you to leave and to head back to the United States, would you go? He actually asked me. So I said, well, yes, I wasn't going to want to do other than what he wanted. And he called me over and he embraced me. And when I stepped back, I felt this incredible energy. It was so much that I couldn't stop. My hands would move, I couldn't stop it from moving. It was just moving. It was like, when you see the movies of Baba and his fingers are moving and, he's doing his inner work. Well, I was doing the same thing. But in my case, there was no inner work. There was nothing, I wasn't conscious of anything. Well, it was so in that respect, and that's a big respect, it was quite different from what Baba did. Just the same, I was so energized by that, something he did in that embrace, which I couldn't tell what it was, but it had that effect. And it lasted until the next day. It was something I will never forget, that energy, well, anyhow, so I came back to the States, and I had one instruction from Baba that I should tell what happened with him to the New York group. And then Baba had also, in the course of things, had mentioned that I should spread his message of love and truth. So that's what's happening now. I'm spreading the message of love and truth as it was given to me. Well, I also want that if anyone has any questions, this is a Zoom. Everybody is part of it. You can ask anything you like at any time. So I'll just make a quick pause before I go on in case no one asks anything. But go ahead.
Could I just a little bit translate,
Oh,
in
yes, I forgot
Indian
about
English, the Indian English for some of our loving elders who are there. I don't know if they're still there or they've left, but this was a beautiful part which Arvind just mentioned, that जब बाबा उन्हें मिले थे, and when Baba told him कि अगर मैं तुम्हें कहूँ कि अभी के अभी तुम अमेरिका वापस लौट जाओ, will you go? And Arvind was like, yes, he would surely do what Baba wants. And at that time, Baba embraced him, and the energy that he felt, the surge of energy that he felt, was nothing that really he can explain, and it almost stayed over till the next day. Correct, Irwin?
Yeah. Yes.
Hello, Irwin, and thank you for giving us your love in your heart and your experiences of Baba. Irwin, I want to ask you a little bit about what did Baba speak of duality, the leelas that we go through, really being with what is. We all have, I have my fair amount of challenges and dramas, and I guess the question really is, I know I'm not in reality. I know I'm in projection a lot, in fantasy a lot, and I do misunderstand and misperceive. So my question is, did Baba speak about how one evolves into some kind of clarity with reality? I can't even ask about the ultimate reality. And could you talk about reactivity, how that may block one from being with what is moment by moment, day by day, decade by decade? If you could speak about any of that, all of that, some of that, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, yes. The wonderful thing about Baba is that you didn't have to concern yourself so much about yourself. People that are on the spiritual path are very concerned about their progress. If you want to translate that, you can.
So, इसमें Arvind is saying about the path of the aspirant, that usually when a person is on the spiritual path, he is extremely concerned. उसे बहुत जिज्ञासा होती है, उसे बहुत एंक्शियसनेस होती है कि मैं करेक्ट हूँ क्या, मैं राइट पाथ पे जा रहा हूँ क्या वगैरह. बट इन द वर्क विद बाबा वन हैज टू फॉरगेट अबाउट सेल्फ, इवन इफ इट इज कंसर्निंग द स्पिरिचुअल पाथ.
Well, I guess that's close enough. But you're speaking in English, and they have to understand it in a different language. So
I gave it with the Hindi. I gave it with the Hindi. Yeah.
Okay. All right then. But Jeff, your question is a question that so many people, lovers of Baba, people on the spiritual path, in whatever path that they choose, are faced with. That's a very difficult thing, because you're trying to find a path for yourself that allows you to actually become closer to God. And in many ways, we don't have any idea what God is. I mean, Baba has been very generous in explaining and showing what God is by saying he is infinite bliss. Well, what's the bliss? The bliss is your own self, but cleared of all obstacles, cleared of all illusion, cleared of all imagination. When you experience everything cleared away, then you have the experience of what you really are, and God and you are the same in that state only. But you need to know that that path is only done by the help of a master, someone who's already there. You can't do it yourself. You cannot wipe out your own mind that stands in the way of your experience of selfhood by yourself. You can't, the mind can't wipe itself out. It's not going to happen. So you go to a master, someone who's already there. And that person sees everything that is standing in your way from experiencing your infinite self, your true self, your self that you really are, behind the body, behind the mind, behind everything. You are the creator, the maker, the preserver of all that is, because it's all a dream. From Baba's point of view, it's all an illusion, it's a dream. So he's everything. But when you experience that, you see that, wait, that's me. I'm everything. And you and Baba are one. You remember how the old saying goes in every religion, they say it the same. God and you are one. We are one. Not two, one. So to experience this is really the goal that Baba is taking us to. And because he is there, he can do that very easily. No difficulty for him. He's all powerful. If you're all powerful, that means, what does it mean? It means you can do anything. But he's only doing it, and you have to understand this, in the imagination that we have that we think is real. It's all imagination. It's created by the mind. Well, Baba sees this from his point of view, and he is able to clear away the obstacles. So what are you going to do? You're going to worry about it? You're going to worry, oh, how am I going to realize and come closer to God? And I have 1,000,001 different things that I hear, and there are concentration, meditation. I can just try everything that there is. In the end, what do you end up doing? Well, I guess I didn't do it, so I wonder if there's somebody out there that really can do this and help me. I think there is. This here avatar keeps coming back every so often. This is what I hear. And he's coming for the one purpose, to free us from the bindings, everything that we think we are, which we're not. He's come to free us from that. And so now I'm going to do what he says. I will do everything that he says, because he knows how to take me from here to where I should be. And by the way, I want to tell you, Baba said exactly that. I am not a yogi. I am not a saint. I don't take you to the level that they're at. I take you to the selfhood of what you really are. And this is his mission. This is what he came for. So I can only say, to everybody, just like I would say it to myself. Do what he says. He knows, he knows his way. He knows your way. He knows everybody's way. That is the way. You mess around with other things, you're just messing around. You're going to get whatever that is. But you're not going to get what you really set out for, which is to know the God state, to know what you really are, to know the truth without any illusions. And then you become one with him, you become one with everywhere, with everything. That's what you do. That's what happens. You're doing it right now, actually, but we're doing it unconsciously. So, Jeff, I don't know if that gives you the final answer to your question, but that is the way I see it. And that's the way I've learned it from Baba, and that is the way Baba's been saying it all along. I mean, he hasn't been keeping it a secret. This is no secret, not when you're with him. He tells it to you straight. And I wouldn't worry about myself so much in the 1,000,001 paths that there are, because there are. I would just think, well, let me see what I can do to focus on Baba, to ask him. Listen, the mind is everywhere. You can talk to God and he can answer you, but he likes to answer through circumstances. You ask something, he doesn't have to give you a batch of words. That may not be the answer for you. He gives you circumstances. He sets up the circumstances so that the answers become apparent to you in your own language, in your own way, in your own mind, however you are. Not how someone else is, however you are. You can always talk. Talking is good because if it is an expression of what you truly feel, then he is able to answer that. He looks for sincerity. Believe me, he really does. Well, in my case, so what happened? I'm sitting there with Baba, and he suddenly turns to me and he says, "You are sincere," because I meant what I was feeling. I really meant it. And Baba knew it. And how did he know it? Because behind the mind that I am, he knows the thoughts of everything. There's no secret to him. If someone tells him something and it isn't so, he doesn't say, "Oh, you lied to me." No, no, no. He's much too gracious and he's much too helpful to want to say a thing like that. Instead, he looks at you and he says, "Okay, he's lying to me, you know, he knows that, but I'm going to help him anyhow. I know just how to help him because I know his mind and he doesn't even know his own mind. I know his mind, so I have to help him." And that's what he does. He's here to, in fact, Baba told me, he said that he would help me. That was it. And he said it at various times, that he would help me. If I have a personal problem or difficulty, I'm not going so much to anyone else. I just talk to Baba. I said, "Baba, I need some real help. This is really distressing me. This is, I gotta have help for this." And the help comes in no time at all. I'm telling you what happens with me. Now you can try it out for yourself because I think it'll work. I think that's what he does. He loves us. If you love someone, aren't you going to help them? Think about that. It's all love. It has nothing to do with how good you are and how bad you are and whether you, whatever you think about. You are facing just some mundane, ordinary difficulty, and you can ask his help. But he's not there for that. He's there to illuminate you, to enlighten you, so that you get free from all sufferings. When you know the infinite self that you are, and it is infinite, unlimited, means unlimited, well, once you know that, you can do anything. What's the problem then? Is there a problem when you can do anything? No. And the many anythings that we are involved with is all imaginary anyhow. So he's beyond that imagination. For him, there's no problem. And he can still help anyone caught in the bindings of imagination that creates so much difficulty and sufferings to the person. So Baba is just the right person. He's just the right guy to help a person out of anything. And most of all, to set that path so that all the things that stand in your way and that block you from realizing him is what he wants. He wants that. That's his mission. He came for that purpose. He didn't come just to settle every little difficulty that you got. And he'll help you with that too. But that's not why he came. He came to give you the big thing, the whole thing, the reality of your true being. That frees you, settles all accounts. So I came to Baba for that reason. When I was with him, I wanted him to show me God. I wasn't coming just to sit with him as physically, it wasn't just a physical thing. Oh, I was very happy to meet him on the physical level because he did come down to the physical level. But it's not why I came. I came for the real thing. And Baba let me know a number of things about that, what would happen. So I'm happy with that, as far as my spiritual journey. I don't think anybody really needs to worry about themselves once they understand that. It takes a lot of worry about how you're going to do things, whether you're doing the right thing, whether it's the spiritual thing, whether that's all that, push that aside. I like what Margaret Crass told her dancers when they were having their problems. She said to them, "Stop whipping yourself so much." She knew from Baba because she had lived with Baba. What is this whipping yourself for? You don't need to do that. That's not going to take you any place. So you focus on him. The simplest thing I can say is what I already said. Baba is connected with your mind, with everybody's mind, but your mind is part of everybody. He's connected with it. And if you have any real difficulty, spiritual or otherwise, whatever you like, then he does help you with it. Yeah, and you'll see the help. It won't take long. It won't take long at all. Any other questions? Jeff, is that okay? Okay, he nods, it's okay. All right. By the way, I did answer your reply. He had written to me, and I hope and he did get it. So I was good. That was having to do with reactions, what people have to concern themselves with the reactions that they have.
Jai Baba, Irwin.
Well, Jai Baba.
Do you remember me?
You're looking good today.
Oh, thank you. Bless you. Irwin, oh my goodness, it's been so long since I've seen you. I just wanted to ask you, do you remember the year you visited us in Karachi?
Absolutely.
It was in the late 60s, but I don't recall the year. So refresh my mind, if you will.
That was, I believe, in 1971. I was traveling, doing videos, making videos.
Yes, you and
of
Ed,
the stories of everybody.
Yes.
Life with Baba. I wanted to get first-hand accounts,
Right.
not something that somebody said, well, somebody told me this and they told them that, and then there's the story. No, I wanted to hear it from the source, the things that Baba said and did with each person.
Right.
And so that's what I was there for.
So you and Edward both had come, correct?
My brother Edward was with me.
That's
right.
And you stayed with us for a while.
Yes, yes.
Right.
I usually stayed with the people that we were going to interview, film. It sure saved a lot of money that way.
That's right.
We didn't have that much money to be traveling with, but we had enough.
That's right. I remember you came by road, I think, right?
It's a little hard to hear you now.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now better?
I think so. Let me just turn this up. Yeah, okay. All right, go ahead. I'm hearing you some.
Good. No, you had traveled by road from Baba, is that right? Or do you?
Well, we traveled in every which way, by plane, by road. When we came to Karachi, we had a fly-in from India. We had just done a whole lot of video interviews there.
Right.
So many Baba lovers live there. And then we went to Karachi, and there was Minu Karas,
Yes.
and he gave some great tales. And then there was a lady that was gave unbelievable story in Karachi. Yeah.
It was lovely. That's all. Jai Baba.
That was it? Okay.
I just wanted
That was easy. Yeah, there was nothing to this. Great. Good to see you again.
Right.
After such a long time. I'm surprised we're both alive. That's all I
know. Me too. A lifetime ago. That's right. Hey, Baba. Thank you.
Dear Mary Baba.
So,
anyone else?
You're good for now.
What?
You're good for now.
Okay. All right. Well, you know, last week I told what happened, and that we were able to get to Baba after a very difficult way of being able to acquire money to go from the U.S. to see Baba. And that was my first trip. But I told you I would skip over the part of how it actually happened and just say what happened when we were with Baba. So the whole story is a Baba story anyhow. We needed to make money in order to see Baba. For 6 months I had been trying to make money in order to get to Baba, because in the beginning, when I heard of Baba, I wrote him a letter and said that I wanted the benefit of his, well, actually, I just told him some things about myself, and I said that I was planning to be going to see him, and I should be there in 2 weeks. I was going to work my way across on a ship, and Baba said back a letter very quickly, and he said, "You can come for 1 hour, and then I will give you my instruction and you head back." Well, that was the trip where we ended up going for, which I didn't worry about the hour. I just said, I'm going, you know, because Baba had once said, and was something I read in the book, even if the worst scoundrel were to stand before me and I had the wish, I can make him realize God in less time than the flash of a second. I thought that's good, you know, what he can do in a flash of a second. Why should I worry about an hour? So it turns out that even though I had thought I could leave and work my way across on a boat, I couldn't get a boat. It went by 6 months, and I got the message from Mani, from the family letter she wrote, that Baba is entering seclusion for 6 months. So that would be another 6 months. Oh, this was too much for me. So I thought, I'm desperate. I've got to get over this. So I got this idea. I'm just sort of repeating something I said last time, but I'm going to tell you something else. And I thought, this is too much for me. I can't wait another 6 months, because Baba said he wouldn't be seeing anybody during that time, and no communication, no visitors. Only in an emergency you could write send a cable to him. Anyhow, I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I'm so broke. I can't get any money together to do this here. So then, in my desperation, I thought, oh boy, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it in Baba's hands. So I write Baba this letter. Dear Baba, I want very much to have the benefit of your love, your direction, and your guidance, but I have no money to come, and I don't see where money should stand in the way of such an ideal. Oh, Baba writes back a letter right away, and he says, don't worry. Circumstances will adjust themselves. Oh, I thought, oh, good. Wonder what's going to happen. So the story that I'm going to tell you now is what happened. How did it all come about? 2 weeks later, I'm right there with him after he sends that letter. Now, when I get the letter from Baba that circumstances will adjust themselves, and I'm wondering, I wonder what's going to happen. This is good news. My father decides that he's going to go away and take a vacation. Now, he had made me president of his business, but his business there was nothing in it. It was just a tract of land, which I had to end up subdividing and selling. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm not at all interested in real estate, but now I'm going to try and see what I can do to sell this property so that I can raise enough money to be able to go. That was my intention. So now I come out with this here idea, and I put this full-page ad in the Miami Herald with advertising this property that people should come. And when they come on Saturday and Sunday. Monday, nobody shows up. So that's always been the case. So, but Saturday and Sunday is when the sales are made. And I'm thinking about this, boy, if I can only sell out this here, I'll be able to go, but who knew? So then I put a 3/4 page ad. This is thousands of dollars I'm taking out of my father's account from the business, because now I'm president. I can do what I want. And I put a 3/4 page ad just for insurance. The prices of those days, the ads were double what they are on Saturday. All right, now these big ads are going in, and I figure maybe we can just, sell the thing out, something. What happens? My dad comes back from his little vacation, and it's a Thursday. The ad goes in on Saturday, and he says, well, son, what did you do while I was gone? I said, well, I'm advertising the property. We're going to have a sale. Oh, he says, that's very nice. Let me see what you got. I show him this full-page ad. Oh, boy, he says, this is thousands of dollars. I said, well, there's a 3/4 page ad going on Sunday, too. Oh, boy, this was too much for him. He calls up the Herald, the Miami Herald. I want to cancel these ads. Guess what? They tell him, no, you can't cancel the ad. It's too late. It's past the deadline. So, okay, now he's nothing he can do about it. Now Saturday comes, and here it is, 8:30 in the morning. The office is all prepared. There's projectors for showing the property. There's contracts. There's salesmen waiting for the people to come. There's a police officer at the door to let the people in. I mean, it was quite a setup. And it's 8:30, and then it's 9:30, and nobody has showed up yet. And that's at 10:30 and 11:30. And it's 12 o'clock, and still nobody shows up. 12:30, 1 o'clock. This is impossible. It never happened that nobody would show up. It's a complete disaster. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Finally, it's 6 o'clock, and everybody's going to go home. There's nobody came. Nobody came. This is a miracle that nobody came. So instead of a miracle, we cleaned out, sold everything. Nobody came. Oh, boy. Now, okay, so now there's Sunday coming in. 8:30, nobody. 9:30, 10:30, nobody. 11:30, 12 o'clock. It's 12 o'clock and nobody showed up. Oh, boy. So I did the one thing. This was the miracle that I needed. So in my mind, I directed thought straight to Baba. I said, Baba, if we're going to ever get to see you, you got to perform a miracle, and you got to do it right now. And it's 12 o'clock. And all of a sudden, we start to hear the sound. There's a sound. And it's like a rumbling sound. Rumbles and rumbles and rumbles. Oh, what is that sound? And it's getting louder and louder. It means it's coming closer and closer to where the office doors are. And the sound gets louder. And soon everybody is listening to it. You know, at first they didn't notice it, but now they're all hearing it. You know, whoa, what is that sound? And there's a big sound comes, and suddenly the double doors of this office swing wide open. And this mass of people come and fill up the office in no time at all. Within seconds, the place is packed. And they all want to buy something. They all want to buy. Do you have 10 acres? Do you have 20 acres? Can we pay, can we put down half? Can we, and the phones are starting to ring, and everybody, and the phones, can you come? We can't come to the office there or to your place because we're unable to do that. But if you can send somebody here, we want to get 50 acres. Oh, brother. And for 6 hours until 6 o'clock, from 12 to 6, the place didn't stop. It didn't stop. And by the end of by 6 o'clock, that's when everything stopped. Everything stopped. And we had done a landslide business. Talk about, don't worry, circumstances will adjust themselves. Boy, when I needed it most, that's when he acted. It happened. $35,000 in down payments. I figured, oh boy, that's just the down payment. So my father says to me, he says to me, well, actually, I said to him, I said, Dad, you know, this was a pretty good day. And he said, well, I've had some pretty good days too, you know. He's telling me about, he had good days too. All right, well, that's good. Dad, I think I would like to go and see Mayor Baba because I want to be able to get there now. And I think I've earned my way there. He says, oh, no. Yeah, no, yeah, I'll never agree to that. I said, well, Dad, you know, I did earn my way. He said it was never a question of money. I said, it wasn't? How was it? He says, it's the principle of the thing. You're going to go from here to India to see God? What is this here? You're living in a dream, an illusion. There's no such thing like that. You're going to go there, he's going to see you and send you home. And that'll be it. So you're already here, you don't have to go there. Well, I said, Dad, that's not really the case. You really don't understand. There's much more to this. Oh, he would not agree. He would not agree. Now, when he didn't agree, after all of that, you see, and I felt I had earned the right, you know, after all of that, I said to my brother Edward, I said, look, Ed, he's never going to allow it. He's just decided that. I'm just going to go. I said, why don't you just go to New York, get our papers that we need, the passport stamped in the visa and whatever we need. You fly to New York tonight, and I will go to the travel agent and get the tickets. I'm just going to take the money out. I've earned it. Now I'm going to do this. So he flies to New York. I go to the travel agent. Said, you know, I want to go there and see the Mayor Baba. So he says, well, I don't know. You're just going, but it's hard to say. whether everything will work smoothly. But anyhow, he gives us the tickets. We're taking a chance, and we don't even know what's going to happen. So we go. And Baba, so we go to the airport, and he meets me there. And so we go to see Baba. Now he couldn't go because my father wouldn't allow him. He wouldn't allow him to leave. He would only allow me because I worked for him. So I said, Edward, I think Baba would like for us to go together. No, he says, I got to go back with him. And that was what happened. So that's how I got there. In 2 weeks after he sent that message, circumstances will adjust themselves. Well, now you know the circumstances. Because when I was there was somebody raised their hand in the back and they asked, how did you come? I said, I was able to come because it was Baba's will. And Baba had me repeat it then. He had me stand up and repeat that. I was able to come because it was his will. He could have made any way possible, but this is how he chose to do it. Now you know the story. That was how it happened. People always ask, how? What? He said circumstances will adjust themselves, and then you're there? How did that happen? Well, that's how it happened. Now you know it. I don't know who else knows it. Now, there you have it. Do I still have time left? 15 more minutes?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So, and if anyone has a question, I'll throw it open again in case anyone does. Well, that's pretty good. I'll answer that also. No question. I made a number of trips. I made actually 3 trips while Baba was alive to see him. And one time, when he dropped his body, when he left his body, I went to see Baba at that time. And he was in the tomb. But I have to tell you this part, that when we got the letter, it was a cable actually that came. Mayor Baba has left his physical body to live in the hearts of his lovers everywhere. And he has been interned in his tomb, which he had ordered to be built for him long ago. That was the cable that came. So I thought, he's been covered, and you can't see him, but I'm going to go. Fred Winnefeld, I don't know if I talked about this last time. You can remind me if I did. But Fred Winnefeld, who is the head of the New York group, they were the group heads, was getting a lot of calls from people all over the country, did this really happen? Because there was some small newspaper article. There was a little article in the newspaper that said that that Mayor Baba has died in a cave and that he was silent. So anyone that knew anything knew that he wasn't in a cave. But at the same time, there's this article that he died. We called Fred to find out that, what really happened? Oh, well, Fred explained it to them. But then he also was saying to the Baba lovers in the meeting there that they shouldn't go to India now because Baba was, the Mandali would have too much to do. They were already busy with the fact of Baba passing. And they shouldn't go now, because Baba had invited all his lovers to come for 1 week. You can come and see and be there. But it was in Pune that he was going to see them at Guru Prasad. So that was the reason everyone was thinking about it. Just the same, now he dropped his body. And they asked me, well, what do you think of that? I said, well, he's a slippery guy, isn't he? He can come and go when he pleases. All right. Well, just the same, um, it turns out that the Sufis were being told by their Murshida not to go for the same reason. And the other Baba groups and Baba lovers were being told by the group heads in their areas, same thing, not to go. So Fred says to me, this is what's happening now. Nobody's going. I said, nobody's going, but I'm going. And so is my brother Edward going. We're both going. He says, what? I'm telling everybody not to go and you're telling me you're going? I said, where does the son go when the father passes away? Does he just stay back? No, he goes to be with him, to be there, whatever. And I'm not going for the Mandali. I'm not, they don't have to take care of me. I'll take care of myself. So there's no problem with that. So he says, oh boy, look what you're doing. I said, listen, Fred, I want to tell you something. If you don't go, you will regret it later. And then we left. Later on, which was about a month later or so, then everybody was coming then at that time. And he came and he admitted, he said, you know, you were right. I really should have gone at that time. But I said, okay, well, you're here now. So that was what happened. And during that time, when Baba was in the Samadhi, we didn't know he would be in the Samadhi. I thought he was going to be covered, you know. The telegram seemed to indicate that he would be covered, but it didn't say it like that, but that's what I thought. He was not covered at all. You could see his face and he was there, and people had some really mystical experiences being there. There was one group of women that told me that they were trying to see Baba because there were so many other people in front of them, and they couldn't see over them to look down into the crypt to see Baba. And they said that Baba raised himself up so that you could see him. How do you like that? You know, and there was three of them. It wasn't just one, you know, imagining something. Anyhow, all three saw the same thing. So there was that, you know, and he was so kind, you know, that what, if it really happened like that he would raise himself up just so that they could look at him because they couldn't see him. What a beautiful thing that is, you know, that such a thing would happen. There were other people that told me things, but this is where I'll leave off now. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If there's anything further, there's still a few minutes left.
That's an amazing story. I wanted to ask if you remember Jimmy Kahn.
Jimmy Kahn, I'm not sure by the name.
He's here.
Okay. Yeah, well, this was all, how many years ago now? 1965?
Arvind, this is Jimmy Khan. In the 70s, it was I who used to take you and your brother in Mumbai to all the Parsi ladies. We sat in a taxi, and the whole day I took you and your brother, and you filmed all those Parsi ladies. I took you and your brother at all the Parsi ladies' homes, and you recorded their stories. So that was me. If you recollect that incident, you were recording their stories, lifetime stories with Baba.
We recorded so many people.
Yeah,
you know that there was a set of videos, just the video portion. There was a whole other set from films, but the video portion itself was about 100 hours of recordings. There's 100 DVDs, if not more, of all of the people that we interviewed and the stories they told. So I don't remember exactly, precisely this particular incident because there were so many. And maybe sometime we'll talk more about it. I can start to remember better. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Irwin. I think the best part of your storytelling way is the practical approach towards everything that Baba has said, because it is difficult for youngsters or many of us to, so many times uh, understand, though he says don't understand, but yes, I feel we need to understand in some way to put it into practice. But the way you say is so lucid, so fluid, that it amazingly just kind of seeps in that, oh, this is how I can, take in Baba's words. So thank you so much for your approach, more than anything else, and the treasure of all these stories that you have for us. Thank you so
Well,
much.
there was one very practical thing that Jeff had written to me just recently. And if he doesn't mind, I'll read the reply I gave, because talking about the practical side of Baba, this was part of it. Isn't that right, Jeff? Yeah, he's there. Now I know what he looks like, you see. Well, anyhow, I replied to him because he asked a very important question. You asked a question that everyone has to deal with. This is my question. How did Baba want his lovers to work with reactivity, reacting? I believe Baba wanted his lovers to develop control. You can react, but you need to choose your reaction. It can become fun to choose reactions to events rather than to react out of habit. That is the game. You can even practice different reactions by creating imaginary circumstances that happen in everyday life. So when events occur, you can react the way you practiced. Regarding emotional surges, you will always have emotional power. There is no end to stopping it. So we must direct it. We are able to do that, so it does not hurt us or anyone. It is a great power when directed intelligently. You can choose how you react to man and God. In the end, it is all effortless. Like Baba, it becomes all love. Your letter and question reminds me of what Baba's disciple, Adi K. Irani, told me. He handled so much of Baba's correspondence. I will paraphrase him. He said, I know what Baba gave me to understand and tell others. But when a crisis occurs, I may forget what I know and lash out. I am not exempt from this either. That's me. But at least I know how to better myself. So now I pass it on to you. Jai Meher Baba.
Jai Baba.
Go ahead. If you can keep your question quick, there's one more question after.
So, Irwin, I just wanted to ask you about the DVDs that you recorded. I'm sure you recorded my father and a lot of other people in Karachi. Would it be possible for me to procure those DVDs from you or from wherever they're available?
Yeah, absolutely.
How do I get?
What I would suggest to you is just send me an email of what you want.
Okay.
And then I can respond and I can look it up and see what we got.
Okay.
And do that. And for anyone else that I videoed, that would be also.
And Ruth, a quick question you had?
Well, I just wanted to ask Irwin if he remembered the time that he came to Pittsburgh and made the film for WQED television station for just a collage of Baba's films and his recordings that he had made.
No, I don't remember.
Well, you were
sure
there.
it
You and Bob Brown and Charles Haynes, and it was an
yeah.
hour program. You spent at least 24 straight hours in Sess's spare room collaging films of Baba that you brought from everywhere. It was a most astounding time. I got to see so many Baba films because of that. But nobody could stay in the room very long because it was so intense.
Well, you know, I've done so many things. One of the most important things in regarding films was the movie Meher Baba, Avatar of the Age. which is the only film that actually has scenes of Baba traveling to contact Mus. It was all, the whole movie was an hour and 20 minutes for just the Mayor Baba. And then I put to the soundtrack was where I matched up what Baba was saying during these things that people see on the screen. And Baba is explaining what happened, you know, from his point of view. And boy, what a point of view that was. So that movie contained only his own words, the quotes, and then the pictures of him with doing the various things he did. Now that's a very important movie. The other one that you're mentioning, I really have to think about that far more before I can really remember any of the details of what went on at that time.
Great.
All right, Jai Baba.
Arvind, thank you so much once again for all the valuable treasures that you've shared with us. And I'm sure that it will help us to get closer and closer to Baba and bring his words to life in our practical living life. Thank you so much. Jai Baba.
Thank you, Irwin.
I want to say, if you can hear me, it was really wonderful for me to remember all these things and telling you the stories of what occurred, because it's all real, you know, it's all very real. And I think the Zooms and this meeting hall is just excellent. You know, there's never been anything like it. And this is wonderful that people can meet like this and talk to each other. You know, it's a two-way conversation here. That's really great.
It is a
Thank
Baba
you.
miracle.
It's very much a Baba miracle. And I've shared with with this group that I started coming to RT, was it around May? I think it was right after Mara, the Mara celebration, which I attended, and then I found out about RT. And about a week after coming to RT or so, I had this experience where I'm sleeping and I went in outer space. And that's all I can explain it as. And there was Baba. And Baba and other people, Betty was there, Lemon Mummy was there, and I don't know who else was there, but a bunch of you all were there. And Baba was explaining to me how important this was. And he showed me it was like this big yellow grid where we're all in the corner and we're creating this light blanket that will surround the planet. That's what he told me in this dream. So, and here we all are. It was pretty profound. I was like, wow. So if you think of like Jeopardy or Hollywood Squares, and there's squares, and it was like these light rods. He showed me this big light blanket, and that we were all the stars, but it was very organized circuitry. It wasn't like random. It was just very straight up. This is the blanket. This is going to go. Anyway, Jai Baba. That's the last time I had a dream about Baba, which was during COVID. Anyway.
One thing I will say, that Baba was clear about this. He said, I created the media because I have a universal message to give to the world. And so if we wonder how come there's a media, now you know.
I would like to ask you, there are, a lot of things in Baba's discourses or Lord Meher. A couple of things are like universal messages, which is, applicable to all. And there are certain things as instructional aspects, as Baba told you or spoke to you or has spoken to Noshirvan. And those are contextual messages. I have experienced a lot of times with our circles of friends and, Baba lovers, often there's this blurring line of what is contextual and what is generally applicable, kind of a thing. So could you just throw light on an easier way for everyone?
Well, I think there is an easy way, and it's very simple. whatever you think applies to you, whether it applies to the whole world or not, and somebody else is giving a talk about it, Noshawan or whoever, if you think that you can get something that would help you and it applies to you, and the battery went out, so the whole thing went off. Now I'm back. You can hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What is your question?
So I was asking the easy way out for us to, which you partly really in that one statement you answered, that what really between what is a universal message and what is contextual.
Well, again, I don't know what you heard of what I said before, but whatever you can take from it, from whoever it comes, that is something that you feel that you could make use of to help you, is personal. It doesn't matter if it's told to someone else. If you think that it's going to be good for you, take it. That's the only answer. There is no other way of discriminating what is general and what is personal to someone else, or what within context. Just make it work for you. And if it does, fine. If not, let it go and just take the ones that do. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Jai Baba Roshni.
Jai Baba, how are we, Auntie? So good to have you.
Yeah, I
Would you
came
like to
in
say
late.
something? Glad you could make it again in the room.
I mean, okay, start my video. Okay, that I know.
Yes.
So better late than never. I know Irwin since the days I remember him in Guru Prasad sitting with me, Edward and him sitting before Baba, and all the love Baba showered on these two newcomers. And of course, Irwin knows me, and his wife was my very dear singing friend. And I really loved her very much. Lovely person. And love to you, Irwin and Mervan. How is Mervan doing? I hope well. Anyway, I missed out on your talk, but I'm glad I caught up. So I'm going to hear my favorite Cindy Lodu couple of songs. I hope my
well, I remember the Dada Chanji family very well, and Baba was very close with this family. You would have so many tales to tell yourself from your years with Baba.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I read all of her every sometime, and she'll tell you some really great stories too, because they were with Baba a long time.
How is Mervan doing, Irwin?
He does good. He's the one that sends out these circulars so everybody can get it, that are at least the ones on our mailing list.
Okay.
But
my special love to him.
What, dear? What?
I said my special love to him.
Oh, yeah.
I loved his mommy very much. And when we were at Myrtle Beach, she would be my constant companion. Your sweet wife, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
we were very close. We were very close, singing and her playing. Which instrument was it? I'm not sure. But anyway, she was so good. And now she's with Baba, wherever.
Well, she sings like an angel. That's
I know.
She had that kind of voice. Yeah. People were very touched, and they would become emotional actually listening to her. Even me. And, how can I be emotional? But I am. And she would have that quality in her singing voice.
Yeah. And we were guests together at the gathering. Remember, we were guests, and that time she was not even doing too well health-wise, but she did very well. I remember that. Kathy Riley and Tom and you all. Yeah.
After she had died, I'll just tell you this. After she died, she had always been very close with Sheila. That's Bauji's daughter, is it?
Bauji.
Yeah, Bao's daughter.
Yeah.
Anyhow, she was very close. And Sheila tells me this story. This is an incredible story. That she was lying in bed, and she looks and opens her eyes. She sees there's Janet at the foot of the bed. She had already died, you see. She's at the foot of the bed. And she says, "Oh, but how can you be there? You're dead." She says, "Do I look dead?" He says, "No." He says, "Let's go up to the Samadhi," because they were in India, you see. So they went up to the Samadhi, and there was nobody there at the Samadhi at the time. And so Sheila says, "Well, there's nobody here." She says, No. I'm here, you're here, Baba's here." And she's singing away, like that. And this is what Sheila told me.
Special person.
What?
Very special.
Lovely
That
story.
happened. So that's what she told me.
Lovely story.
The good
Thanks for
news is
sharing.
that here now we are all here. We're all present.
Well, we're in physical form, just like Baba and just like everybody that. And then we leave our physical body behind, go on to the journey to the next step, next stage. We're only here a short time anyhow, when you really think about it. Time moves very quickly. So, what else?
Thank you, Irwin.